It's 10 p.m. in Banjul, and this is GRTS News, broadcasting for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. Our top stories this hour. His Excellency President Adama Barrow prepares to travel to the Democratic Republic of Congo for a two-day walking visit set to deepen cooperation between Banjul and Kinshasa. Residents of the Upper River look forward to expanding trade and business as President Barrow inaugurates the new ultra-modern Basse market harnessing regional trade in the Gambia's provincial capital. And a new focus on food security. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Agency meets beneficiaries of a nationwide livelihood scheme aimed at adapting agriculture to climate change. In sports, the world of sports comes together to protest Russia's invasion of Ukraine in a continued display of support across all games from football to judo. Elsewhere, Russian forces meet stiff resistance as they attempt to push further into Ukraine. The mayor of Kiev says the capital is strongly holding its defense lines. And African students in Ukraine called on their government to evacuate them from the European country as Russia intensifies its offensive on Ukraine. Well, that's the top of the news and much more coming ahead with me, Rohibite. To stay. Great to have you here. We begin with a press dispatch from the State House, which informs the general public that the President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency Adama Barrow, will embark on a two-day walking visit to the Democratic Republic of Congo. The visit will accord the President the opportunity to strengthen diplomatic and bilateral ties between the Gambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo. President Barrow and delegation will leave Banjul International Airport on Monday, 28 February at 10 a.m. Now, residents of the Upper River region are basking in the glory of a new ultra-modern market and regional business centers set to increase the trade of the area's prospects. The new Basse market was inaugurated by His Excellency President Adama Barrow on Saturday. The Gambian leader unveiled the crucial infrastructure with a pledge to expand the country's economy capacity via increased investment. Our regional correspondent, Seydou Camara, spoke to residents and the region's governor.
On February 24, 2020, the entire Basse market was ravaged by an inferno that left traders and merchants into total devastation at the time. Following the destructive blaze, the government, under the leadership of His Excellency Adama Barrow, made a promise to reconstruct the entire facility into an ultra-modern market. That pledge is now fulfilled as the President inaugurates the new Basse market, handing over state-of-the-art facility to Basse Area Council. Reacting to the massive development, Fatou Keita and Awa Jallow, respectively, expressed gratitude and appreciation to President Barrow for building such a magnificent market structure set to accommodate major trade activities, drawing merchants across the sub-region.
Na president ba menketa president Adama Baroti anata puru kana maraso dayele ninketa antel musoli yo kontani kubaleti sai mo bebe kontani ri maraso la yelola mune yakendi na nyato tabe sotani maraso la kon nindi ngol la nyato tabe sotani maraso la kon katu musu jama bije akadi ngola karam mo joni maraso la
anda gila marsiden sume hande ko wonno hanke ko woni hande wona goto sandari hanki no marside wonirno hande kan wonirni dal ko men fo dal me de welti.
The reconstruction of the market edifice has put a smile on many faces. One of those is the former governor of the region, Fanta Boyan Samatemani, who was serving in the region when the inferno happened.
It's a hub. It attracts business from the sub-region, starting from Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, Senegal, you go up to Mali and then Sierra Leone. So definitely the burning of this market was really a serious issue and affected the whole sub-region. We have to be grateful to the government of the Gambia, through His Excellency the President, for building this state-of-art market in Basse today. And I'm very, very delighted to be here to inaugurate the market. And I was here when it was burned down to ashes. So for me, I'm more than happy and more than grateful.
The governor of the region, Sambaba, highlighted the future quality standard the market has, will not only provide new face for the second capital, but will boost the financial growth of the council and enhance the earnings of the traders in the market.
Economic hub in the sub-region. When you say Latini Mahande Sare Basse, Tundu URR, collect the Keldi and Lady the Keldi and Bonnie and their Basse. Then no send Camino any Mass and Darnare go, and Ganda the Pera have in their Gambia, then no Tunko Porta Pedu, trade men or Honosman, but then Safari Agimen the Koputa the Pedu. Tesai Morendo have Marse, for Massa and Bawa and Nabde, and Gandhi when the colleague got His Excellency, what and then the Lady Basse, put in but a compliment Master for Master and Bawa.
In his inaugural statement, President Barrow commended the contractors and partners, saying the market belonged to all, irrespective of political affiliation. The Gambia leader advised that those affected by the inferno be given the priority in the allocation of canteens.
The complex provided 246 vendor shops, 2 mini markets, and 4 sales with capacity to house 70 women vegetable sellers. The initial plan was for 185 shops, but following an appeal by the council and the people of Basse, this was increased by 61 shops. I am reliably informed that the entire market is paved with reinforced concrete and an effective drainage system in place. Mindful of unexpected power outages, the market has a 250 kVA transformer and an electricity distribution network, which includes 10 lit electrical street lights for lighting and security. We can rest assured that this is a safe 5-star market of high quality and international standards.
After cutting the ribbon, delegates headed by the president toured the new market facilities built with safety standards to avoid disaster during emergencies. Seydou Camara, reporting for GRTS News from Basse Upper River Region.
The new Basse market opens a new era of expanded business opportunities in the Upper River region. The completion of the market infrastructure, swiftly built by the Barrow administration in response to the area's commercial needs and growing market economy, comes as Basse becomes an important regional hub, attracting unparalleled trade and commerce. Aminata Sanyang takes a closer look.
Described as the capital city of rural Gambia, Basse is one of the busiest areas in Upper River and biggest commercial hub in the country's hinterland. People here are engaged daily in different trades and economic activities on a scale that makes the city one of the busiest markets in the Gambia. Basse is also a regional business hub with an expansive market that has seen multiple fire outbreaks, including last one, which ravaged goods and stores, putting many out of business.
Raised to ashes by calamitous flames and now constructed into a massive business edifice, the Basse New Market gives an infrastructural facelift to one of Gambia's biggest regions, creating trading opportunities for people in the Upper River region.
The swift intervention of the Barrow administration ushered in a massive development for Basse. The infrastructure has maximum and standard equipment installed to mitigate fire disasters and future emergencies.
Hydrants are our major point because water sources, if you get the water sources, that means the men are effective and efficient. They can do the job. But if the materials are not in place, that is our constraint. But presently, for this new market, we have done our plans. 4 hydrants is identified here, and they are functionable. Local topography is done every 6 months. Every 6 months, we'll come and check the condition of the hydrants. And we have the key and bars, whereby we open it, check the water flow, the pressure there, and the weather is in a good service.
The construction of the Basse Market was effectively expedited by the Barrow administration as part of government's agenda to promote and enhance trade in the country.
The Basse Area Council, leading the city's administration, is now tasked with ensuring the sustainability and maintenance of the important edifice.
We have our maintenance plan in place that will make sure that the sustainability of this market to maintain its structure is the daily activity of the council. We'll make sure that the structure is maintained to the best of our ability. As you can see, plans are on the way to provide dustbins and tricycles to be transporting waste materials from the council here and there, and cleaners as well will be always be here. And already as we are speaking, we have recruited somebody who is going to take care of the toilets, and we have a plumber in place who is going to be stationed here, so that any plumbing material, any plumbing problem will be directed to him. We also have a qualified electrician who is also going to be stationed in the market, so that even fixing of the bulb will not allow the vendors to do it. Whatever electrical problem will be directed to that, so that we maintain all the structures and all the properties of this market to the best of our ability.
Every store and section here has well-structured electrical appliances with standard bulbs lighting up the area as never seen before.
Because the day-to-day running of the market rests on the council, but we make sure that we'll give them the initial advice that they shouldn't allow anybody to loop anything. All meters should be leave, and whenever there is something to be changed, it be changed with the standard breakers and all those things. But when you start mixing breakers, it might cause and other things. But we have already have a meeting with the council to explain to them that they need to have a special technical that would supervise the day-to-day running of the market.
The market's management involves a concerted effort from various institutions such as NAWEC, Works Department, and a host of other stakeholders.
Of Works, as you know, is responsible for all the government infrastructure aspect, like supervision and monitoring of government project. So since the inception, there is a committee, a steering committee for this project specifically.
The development has been greatly lauded and welcomed by residents who are set to explore business opportunities available in the region and beyond with a standard business center.
We are excited about this development because the new market will serve the entire URR. At least we have a structure that is presentable, thanks to President Adama Barrow.
Constructed within a dynamic setting, the people of URR will now explore a new business infrastructure designed to make URR a regional trading hub. This is a transformative development that will help usher in business opportunities for the people in this region. Reporting from Basse, I am Aminata E. Sanyang.
Now to agriculture and climate change adaptation mechanisms. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations recently embarked on a 7-day tour of project sites in rural Gambia under its new Adapting Agriculture to Climate Change program, which seeks to promote sustainable and diversified livelihood strategies to reduce the impacts of climate variability in the agriculture and livestock sector. Baba Silla reports.
Security and nutrition sustainability efforts are seeing renewed focus as the UN Food and Agriculture Agency moves to encourage community production initiatives, a new program aimed at boosting climate adaptivity in the Gambia. The Adapting Agriculture to Climate Change in the Gambia project is a global environment facility funded program attracting both women and men, including community leaders who have expressed joy and readiness to uplift themselves via their own ventures in agriculture.
Liggéey ak diina ñoo ànd doo mën a féetoo diine rek te doo liggéey du sotti fokk nga handle liggéey bi ak diine ji mu mën a dox.
Before the intervention of ACCP, so they were having another garden outside there. But that garden, they used to have a lot of constraints, and the constraints where the garden is not properly fenced and inadequate water supply continue to be a problem. So during the intervention of FAO, I was asked by my former director to come and demarcate 5 hectares of land. They would have a support from FAO. So after, when they start fencing, so after we have so many training, most of the women here, not all, but most of them have training with the ACCP, which they benefited a lot.
Officials met beneficiaries at several sites from the North Bank to the Upper River regions, where communities explain how the project is transforming their living conditions despite challenges they continue to experience.
50% of the crops that we grow here is onion, bob onion. And then we have spring onion, then we have radish, we have bitter tomato, sweet, and then we have an experiment site of both tomato and then cucumber, and then Irish potato also. We have an experiment side of it. Okay, the women here, our major thing is the sustainability of the garden. What we normally do at every production, they normally have an amount of money that they should pay in order to sustain the garden. In the absence of FAO or in the absence of the project, they can able to sustain the garden even in our absence.
I balwosone andinyen. I karamwo ko zone andin. But Adam mengomenti nyata nyanda kala sinkiroto. Ngabe bondijan.
The Global Environment Facility funded project is moving to promote sustainable and diversified livelihood strategies to reduce the impact of climate change. Baba Silla, GRTS.
Mr. Usman Sow, the Director General of the Gambia State Intelligence Service, SIS, has been unanimously renominated as the chair of the 15 regional member services of ECOWAS. The Gambia's intelligence chief will chair and coordinate the Committee of Intelligence and Security Services of Africa, CISA, in the West Africa region until 2023. DG Sow was unreservedly renominated at a virtual Zoom meeting held on February 25, 2022. The Gambia's intelligence service and network has seen significant transformation and increased international recognition since President Barrow's coming to power in 2017. Recently, the Gambia also assumed the position of President of the ECOWAS Commission. It's the first Gambia occupies the presidency in the history of the regional bloc. The Director General of SIS was unanimously endorsed and renominated by 13 out of the 15 member intelligence services of West Africa. The member services unanimously reposed their confidence in the SIS DG to chair the Intelligence Commission due to his exemplary leadership and stewardship of CISA West Africa during the difficult times of 2019 to 2021. SIS was first selected as chair of the region in June 2019 when the service hosted a regional meeting in Banjul, and again in 2021 when it hosted another regional meeting. In his acceptance statement, DG Sow recommitted to working harder and getting better amid increased challenges. He urged regional member services of the continental body to get better and stronger, call on CISA West Africa members to work closer together in providing timely and actionable intelligence to political leaders and decision makers. We head off to the Central River region where the Turkish Development Agency TICA is supporting the expansion of Medicare delivery as they wrap up a major capacity program built training 25 health workers drawn from different regions on emergency service training. Modlamin Sani has the details.
An early morning simulation exercise at the Bansang Hospital marks the end of a 5-day training program for 25 health workers drawn from across provincial Gambia on emergency medicine interventions. The symbolic exercise here provides an accident scene with several injured passengers, giving participants a real test of practical Medicare services. identifying victims needing urgent attention, from the search of patients to the assessment of victims. Every detail collected is meant for trainers here to examine participants' knowledge on emergency response.
It is going to help me and also help not me as per se, but also the community that I am going to render the service to. For example, if I walk on the road and I've seen a situation wherein there's an unfortunate incident happen, I'll be able to take care of that situation because of this training. Yeah.
This training, the main important thing is even the basic life support that we have learned. And there are so many things that are happening, so many accidents that are happening, and we just carry that patient from the scene up to the hospitals without even basic life support. So this training has really helped me, has really equipped me with that skill that even opening an airway for somebody can just save his or her life.
The Vital Training Program, supported by TICA, seeks to enhance capacity on emergency medicine service delivery.
Bring the same training in your health facilities so that you can transfer the knowledge to the other people. You know that knowledge is getting bigger when you share it. If you keep it with yourself, it will not get bigger. So finally, I will say again, I will repeat, this program is one of the most successful programs.
Part of the program focus aims to strengthen and prepare health workers for disaster and emergency interventions.
Training has impacted a lot of knowledge on you people. So much is given to you. So we expect a lot from you people. Dr. Mendy has mentioned that he has started teaching his family members, and this is very key. You never know. One day you could be choked. Who is around you to help you? Your family member, who you have impacted knowledge to. So please, please teach people around you. You never know when they will help you.
I want to urge all of you to take this training seriously and to also relay your knowledge and skills to those who are not opportune to be here with you. Learning everything, because your post-test is very good, that has showed that you people have learned a lot. But share your skills.
The training drew 25 participants from major hospitals and other health facilities across rural Gambia. Organizers are moving to expand Medicare service capacity to ensure every health worker understands the basic in handling emergencies. Mood Lamin Sani reporting for GRTS News from the Central River region.
Women gardeners of Kantong Kunda village in the Kiang West district of the Lower River region are lamenting the lack of water and fencing for their horticultural garden. The garden, where village women have been working for nearly 5 decades, immensely contributes to the income as well as food and security needs of the community. Alajimbai reports.
Agriculture is the main economic activity in Kantong Kunda, where a majority of the women engage in horticultural production at the community garden. The vast land garden is said to be nearly 5 decades old. Women farmers in the garden, including the president of the Garden Management Committee, Ajabinta Sise, are however struggling due to lack of water and proper fencing at their main source of livelihood, as production and productivity at the garden dwindles. We have 2 main challenges here, lack of fence and borehole. We suffer to draw water from the wells. We use our hands, and our palms are as hard as concrete now. Access to market is also a problem. That's why we focus mainly on onions and not perishable goods, she explains. Mrs. Sise also explains that they could only resort to the use of these containers as reserve tanks should the wells dry out in the evening, as well as temporary measures to remedy the lack of fence. Every woman contributes $400 annually for us to buy fencing materials, but that couldn't solve our problems still. Now, we draw a roster of who sits here to drive the animals away on a daily basis. Mama Sise is one of the women at the garden. She also reiterated the challenges faced by women while explaining the benefits they derive from the garden. We used to have money from the garden to support our children going to school. We also have vegetables for our meals, especially during the Ramadan. And that is a way of supporting our husbands. Some people used to come here at 4 a.m. to water their crops. The second group comes at 5 a.m. And that's the group who are still here. If you look around, you also see the animals. They used to be here throughout the day, destroying our crops. Fakeba Sise is one of the community elders who had always supported the women in their struggles at the garden. He explains that they have submitted series of proposals to various institutions, projects, and philanthropists, but to no avail. We have sent our proposals and applications to all relevant departments looking for support, but to no avail. That's our concern now. We really need help to address these two problems. One after the other, women appealed for support from various stakeholders to come to their aid. After having a first-hand experience of drawing water from these wells of over 20 meters deep, I have no doubt that these women urgently need help to boost production and productivity at the garden, and as well improve the economic status of women in the community. Alajimbaye, GRTS News.
And now in sports, the world of sport is coming together to protest Russia's invasion of Ukraine in a continued display of support for Ukraine across all games, from football to judo. In the Champions League, Skulls play for the first time without their sad sponsor, Gazprom, and Poland and Sweden also refused to play against Russia in the World Cup playoffs. Russian football recently made new gains in the international scene, with the country hosting a World Cup in 2018 that saw its national team reach the quarterfinals for the first time in post-Soviet history. However, following Russia's invasion of Ukraine on Monday, February 24th, European football clubs are now severing ties with Russian companies and sporting organizations. UEFA has announced the rescheduling of the 2022 Champions League finals, which were slated to be played in Moscow. Other sports are also moving events out of the country, with players and fans around the world also sending messages of support for Ukraine. The World Judo Organization also announced the withdrawal of President Putin as its honorary president as the pushback from sports world intensifies. And from sports, we now take a look at the international scene, beginning with Russia's invasion of Ukraine, where Moscow forces have met stiff resistance as they attempt to push further into the country earlier. The mayor of Kiev said the capital is holding its defense lines and there are no Russian troops in the city. After reports of heavy fighting in eastern Kharkiv, the regional governor said Ukrainian forces took back full control of the city. Russia's latest attack have targeted civilian infrastructure and the military. The Russian invasion of Ukraine sent tens of thousands of Ukrainians fleeing their homes since Thursday. Huge crowds have been waiting at train stations to travel to the border and cross into neighboring countries like Poland and Bulgaria. Scenes from Lviv in western Ukraine shows immense fear and frustration. There is not enough space on trains to carry everyone to safety. Men are forced to say goodbye to their families as they are not allowed to leave because all men between 18 and 60 are being called up to fight. Many of the refugees are headed to Poland. Ukraine is doing its best to repel the Russian attack by training civilians to fight. Support from the US and other NATO members have also bolstered national defenses, with Germany overhauling a long-standing defense policy as they pledge a major delivery of weapons for Kiev. But few believe Ukraine is a match for its much larger neighbor. Can draw on more than 1 million men and women. Russia has more than 3 million. Ukraine has less than 2,500 tanks compared to Russia's 13,000. And in the air, Ukraine has just 67 attack aircraft, in contrast to Russia's 1,500 in oil depot in Luhansk. In eastern Ukraine, exploded and caught fire on Saturday with about 200 tons of diesel now burning. Luhansk authorities said people were injured and that the explosion may have been caused by a rocket attack from Ukraine. And now a Ukrainian mom recounted her horror story as she fled conflict-affected Ukrainian city of Kramatorsk with her 11-year-old son. I think I won't come back home, she told CGTN.
We took all the cash that we had and I left it with my mom because I understand that, like, she needs it. Probably more than me. Maybe it's the first time in my life when I don't have any plan. And I don't know what we will do tomorrow. There is no safe territory in Ukraine anymore, and no little tiny piece, no. We're just in danger everywhere.
In Ukraine also wants the government to evacuate them from the European country as the conflict between Ukraine and Russia escalates to new highs.
1,000 Ghanaians are currently studying or working in Ukraine, according to the government's data. Many of the Ghanaian students in Ukraine are in the country studying to become doctors. They say they are living in fear as the renewed conflict between Ukraine and Russia deepens. Russia has launched an offensive in eastern Ukraine, raising fears of deepening violence in the country. Ghana's government says it is engaging Ukrainian authorities to ensure the safety of Ghanaians in the country. The government has advised Ghanaian students in Ukraine to seek shelter in their homes or in designated government places of shelter. But the Ghanaian students in eastern Ukraine, where the shelling by Russia is happening, want to be evacuated from the country as soon as possible. They say they are running short of food and other basic supplies. Meanwhile, some of the Ghanaian students in western Ukraine have started already moving out of the country to seek refuge in Poland and other European countries. Nabil Ahmed Rufai, CGTN, Accra, Ghana.
7 African heads of state gathered in Kinshasa on Thursday to assess a 2013 agreement aimed at cementing peace in the Democratic Republic of Congo's violence-torn east and the Great Lakes region. The Peace, Security and Cooperation Framework aims at fostering efforts to stabilize the region's millions of people who died from violence, disease or starvation in the 1996 and 1997 and 1998 to 2003 Congo Wars conflict that emerged countries from around East and Central Africa.
A summit to find a lasting solution to the ongoing insecurity in Eastern DRC and the Great Lakes region. African leaders from Angola, Burundi, Uganda, South Africa, the Republic of Congo, the Central African Republic, and the Democratic Republic of Congo gathered in Kinshasa to discuss ways of ending the cycle of violence. They committed to fostering efforts to stabilize the region.
It is easy to defeat these groups. I don't buy the idea that there is a problem grande, what. because we have defeated them in Uganda. The groups which are in some of these areas originally came from Uganda, like ADF.
The leaders commended Uganda for sending its troops to eastern DRC to carry out joint operations with the Congolese army to fight the Allied Democratic Forces rebel group. DRC President Felix Tshisekedi called for the strengthening of trade to help end the conflicts.
Cette paix, condition sine qua non pour toute velléité de développement.
One of the conditions for lasting peace is development. We must work together to end the cycle of violence by armed groups and the instability that has plagued our region and the east of the DRC for many years.
The Kinshasa summit is the 10th that the leaders have held since 2013. Their organ is known as the Regional Oversight Mechanism of the Peace, Security and Cooperation Framework. The Ugandan president handed over the chair of the intergovernmental body to DRC's President Felix Tshisekedi. Millions of Congolese have been killed and many others displaced by violence since 1996. The conflict sucked in other countries from East and Central Africa. A peace deal was reached in 2003, but the conflicts in Eastern DRC have continued to this day. Many Congolese hope the Security Summit will bring about a lasting solution to the military crisis in the east of their country. Chris Sochamringa, CGTN, Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of Congo.
You're watching us live from Banjul. This is GRTS News with me, Rohi Bitey. A quick look at our top stories once again. His Excellency President Adama Barrow is set to travel to the Democratic Republic of Congo on Monday for a two-day walking visit set to deepen cooperation between Banjul and Kinshasa. Residents of the Upper River are looking forward to expanding trade and business as President Barrow inaugurates the new ultra-modern Basse market harnessing regional trade in the Gambia's commercial capital. And a new focus on food security, the United Nations Food and Agriculture Agency has met beneficiaries of a nationwide livelihood scheme aimed at adapting agriculture to climate change. In sports, the world of sport is coming together to protest Russia's invasion of Ukraine in a continued display of support across all games from football to judo. Elsewhere, Russian forces met stiff resistance as they attempt to push further into Ukraine. The mayor of Kyiv says the capital is strongly holding its defense lines. And African students in Ukraine are calling on their governments to evacuate them from the European country as Russia intensifies its offensive on Ukraine. That's it for this hour. Until then, thanks for the pleasure of your company, and do stay and enjoy the rest of GRTS's programs.